Hey, hi, my name is Ragujan and I'm going to explain about servlet filters. Let's talk about servlet filters. So servlet filters is an object which is instantiated and controlled by the web application, the web container. It is part of the servlet API since the version 2.3. And yeah, so it has methods. And these methods will be called by the container. So you may ask why we need to use the server filters. So let's take a scenario. So let's say your application gets bigger, and also in your application gets bigger, and also you have a huge client base. So and now you want to add new features to the application, like uh, when you want to specify specific users and give them unique accesses, like platinum customer or something like that. And in that case, you can define, or you can work with that type of that type features inside the server. So but when things get bigger and bigger, and also complicated, it's not that easier to work inside the server. You have to rewrite, and also it may affect the whole it may affect the other servers as well. So that's where we can use filters. So you can use a filter to identify the specific type of clients when they make request to the server, uh, or you can ask their ID passwords, and now you can identify this type of user. So he can only this type of person can use this server, and others can't. And on, the use goes on and on. And also you can do authentication uh, with the and also you can work with authorization as well. And there are other uses as well. So yeah, so now let's talk about how it works. So um, let's say a client making a request to that specific server. So this is a server, and when there is no, where let's say there is no any filters between added to that servlet, right? So this is how it will look. Let me show you the image. So this is how, if you don't add a filter to the servlet, so this is just straightforward. Uh, where web listener container request goes to the servlet, response come back from the servlet, and it will go through go back to the clients, right? So when you add filters, it will pass the request will pass through each filters like a chain, and it will do all these stuff. So let's say you want to clarify someone, you can clarify someone with this filter. And also let's say you want to give an attribute, you can use this filter like that. You can go on and on like that. And let's say you want to manipulate the response, or you don't want to send a response, but let's say you want to send a different response instead of sending the original servlet response. You can do that as well. You can do with the filters, one of these filters. And yeah, also let's say you want to encrypt the data. uh, let's say you want to encrypt the response that goes back to the client, so because you don't want others to see it as a text. So in that case also you can use the filter. So that's how it goes. So when the container decides to instantiate, it will call the init method. And let's say yeah, uh, it will call the init method. And we will talk about the methods as well. So here we have the method, the init method. So this will happen for the first time. When it this is when it get called, when uh, the filter gets instantiated. And the do filter will be called again and again, because let's say you attach the servlet filter to apply the servlet filter to three or more, let's say three servlets. So servlet A, servlet B, servlet C. And when a client makes to a servlet C, it will come and it will go through this method. this container will call this method, and let's say the client, this B, someone making a request to the B, and again it will come to this, the method will be called, and for the C also, the method will be called, and it will be called on and again until the container decides to destroy the method. So destroy, I mean remove the filter. So if the container decides to remove the filter, it will call the destroy method. So yeah, so that's how it goes. Let's go into the code and let me show you the furthermore. So it is the if you want to create a filter, you have to implement the uh, filter interface, and also you have to override also you have to uh, also you have to define the methods. So yeah, so here this is the init one. It takes a filter config object, and here the do filter. So let's talk about do filter a little bit. So it requires, the do filter takes three arguments: the servlet request, servlet response, and filter chain. So you notice these aren't servlet HTTP request or HTTP response. These are just servlet requests. And let's say you want to do something with the request. You can do here before calling the filter chain objects do filter method. You can work with the request below above the filter chain do filter method, and you can work with uh, below the you can work with the response below the do filter method, before calling the do filter method. So here that's what I did here. So what I did was I set the attribute to the request object, which is the request, and the attribute name is hello, and the value is hello world. So I set uh, attribute. So it goes back, whenever it reaches the um, servlet or the JSP, it will have this attribute attached to that request. So we can use that, you can access that attribute. So that's what I did here. So whenever it reaches the JSP, I try to get I access that attribute using the attribute name hello. So yeah, so that's how it goes. If you want to work with the response, okay, you can work with the response as well. So when the response enters the filter, it will print out entering filter. When the when the request entering the uh, filter, it will print out hello entering filter. When the response leaves, or when the response enters the or goes through the or passes when the response passes the filter, it will print out exiting filter. So that's what I did here. That's why these two printlns mean. So yeah, and to then after you creating the class, you have to declare in the web XML. So that's what I did here. Use the filter tags, and the filter tag, the name, you have to set a name. So hello world is the filter name in this case. So the class is a hello filter here, this one. And after that, you have to map the filter to let know the container. The filter is only applied to this this servlet or this JSP. Uh, so that's what I did here. The URL pattern has been set to index.jsp, and the name is hello world. So the hello world filter will be applied to the index.jsp when someone making a request to the index.jsp, or the when yeah when someone making a request to the index.jsp, this servlet filter will be applied. So that's what I did here. So now then after that, you can, like I explained about this section, right? So let's run this application. and let's view. And yeah, and here you can see it says hello world, right? And if I go here, you can see it says entering filter and exiting filter. And yeah, so that's how it goes. And yeah, so that's pretty much for the video. uh, Thank you for watching.